go, jackass. Put your feet up. Looking like a fool with those feet off the ground.
I was friends with the original guitar player Kathan, and he told me about his buddy Pat and how he wanted to start a band. And Pat was from Jamestown Story, and I knew about Jamestown Story, and I knew about Pat. And they were some of my peers, some of my idols as well, because they were local. They were pretty big, so I got together and we started out. It was me, Jake, Pat, New Metal Joe, and Kathan. And then that lasted from October 07 to around June 08. And then Cities kind of just took a break, and everyone kind of went their own way. Two of the guys moved to the Cities, me and Jake just kind of hung out, and then Pat was just all that was left of Cities, and then he said, hey, do you want to help me audition some people out? I was telling him, dude, me, my buddy Joe, who I was in a band with at the time, Joe Laspa, I said, dude, he's a really great singer, and my other best friend, Ryan Waterhouse, he was playing bass in that other band too, and so Pat finally said yes, and that's how we got Joe. And we went down the line with some bass players and finally came upon Grant after I suggested him, and Grant said yes, fine. The new album is called How the Midwest Was Won, and everyone might have their own reasons, but to me, it's basically saying, it's just, I don't know, winning in the band, I guess. Like, and that sounds really cheesy, really simple, but at the same time, it's like, a lot goes into being in a touring band. I love every bit of it. You know, the good times, the hard. I'm always poor, so I mean, I always rely on having fun. Real wins. You know, I don't need to have fun. I've got my best friends on the road. And in my mind, it means, you know, really like conquering the Midwest, and that's like where our hometown is. I'm not gonna lie, I had a blast at the studio, the other studio, because we did drums in a different studio, and then we did guitars here at Josh's studio. And I was just geeking out at the other studio. They had so much stuff, and that for sure had to be my favorite time. Some may have their favorites. I really can't choose one. I'm just happy, really, really stoked on what we wrote for this record, and hopefully it goes over well with people. Started playing drums at a very young age, actually. Actually, my mom said the beginning was they were at Grandma's Marathon. So my parents both worked for Grandma's at the time. They were serving at the marathon under the tents. And my mom was pregnant with me and standing right next to the speaker, and the drum beat, like they were doing, like warming up the drums and like doing the sound check. And apparently I just started like kicking and going nuts. And then I started growing up, and I did the stereotypical grandma's pots and pans, bust them out, you know, at grandma's house. And I actually never have had formal training either. And my parents finally bought me my real kit at age 7, my first real kit, because I went through some like 8 J.C. Penney cheap-ass drum sets. It was really funny. Like they would get it, and literally a week later it'd be destroyed. That's a tough one, but I can tell you right now, I always try to keep an open mind, because I love hearing new stuff. You know, music is definitely an expression. I love to hear how different people express their feelings and emotions. But I can tell you right now that I love a lot of atmosphere and a lot of POS. And my absolute favorite band at the moment, and probably for a while, will be Minus the Bear. They're an absolutely insane just group that they make some of the coolest music ever. And I also love hard, heavy, and aggressive stuff, and you know, that would be Every Time I Die. I really enjoy the Ghost Inside, and I just really enjoy a lot of local metal too. You know, that's also, I love just going to shows and just seeing people just break down and just get nasty. You know, it's nice. I prepared for this record and just always in like maintaining an open mind, a sense of open-mindedness. You know, if that even makes sense, but I'm always trying to listen to new music, and I'm always trying to practice as much as possible. And if that means, you know, hammering out on the set whenever I can, which is usually not at my house, or you know, busting out the practice pad and just, you know, warming up, or just like running it for 20 minutes. That's usually what I try to do. But for preparing for this record, just try to keep a lot of my chops nice and crisp, not really be, you know, always keep things refreshed. I don't know, just really try to spice things up a bit. as far as what I want out of this band, I've already gotten what I really want the most, and that's a lot of great memories with my best friends. And I love going on the road. I love going to the studio with these guys. They're like, I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else. And I also, you know, maybe to get out of it, I'd love to play Warped Tour, as cheesy and as that is. I would absolutely love it. I know I hear it's just terrible, but like a boot camp almost. But I would definitely be up for the challenge. I'd also, I don't know, I want to do this as long as I possibly can. You know, eventually, maybe getting something in return, and if I don't, I'll be perfectly fine with that, because I don't mind being poor and, you know, being a broke-ass musician. It's nice, you know. It separates me from everyone else. I'm never opposed to house shows, and I know that's not really one venue in particular, but we all love house shows, and we love just cramming into a basement and just blowing the roof off. It's a lot of fun. And I would have to say my favorite town is definitely Boston. Absolutely love Boston. I lead a very simple life. No real mystery to it. I just work a lot, and that's basically it. I work, and I work right next to where Joe lives. So, I mean, I just go right to his house right after I get off my shift, and we usually just end up playing Xbox 360, mainly Halo 3. One of our first tours was with Wide Eyed Kid. Actually, our first tour ever was with Wide Eyed Kid. That was fun. That was definitely a great first experience. I also love hanging out with all of the bands from Minnesota. Like, some of our best friends are Skies Alive, Take Cover, The King and the Thief, and I love playing with those guys. CC's Pizza, hands down. There's a rule in Cities Never Sleep. You see a CC's Pizza, you stop and eat at the CC's Pizza, no matter how late you are. You have to, because we don't have them in Minnesota. You know, it's awesome. I also love the gas station Sheetz out on the East Coast. And they have a computer system where you just make your sandwich and then it gets made for you under 5 minutes. And that's not really a restaurant, but man, that's great eating. I tell you one thing for sure, I don't have any fans. No fans. Because I don't consider anyone a fan, more so a friend, and that's closer in my heart, I guess. I know that's cheesy, but I absolutely love anyone that gives my band a chance, or gives this band a chance, and gives us a thumbs up. And when they show support, it's just, it means a lot. Just a big old thank you, I guess, would have to suffice. I just love that anyone would want to take the time to support us. I'm lonely. I was homeschooled. I wouldn't be lying if I said I didn't want to play Warped Tour. You know, I would be lying. Oh, you haven't heard of the All Rights? Great band from Minnesota. Who knows? Maybe we'll play in the future. Diva!